Thank you for your interest in or purchase of a JonyJib Camera Crane. We'll do our best to make your JonyJib setup a snap. But here are some things that you should know before we get started. First, let's talk about safety. A jib is a great tool, but when used unsafely, it can cause injury or even death. A loaded jib is very heavy, even though it's easy to fly around. If a jib in motion comes in contact with someone's head or a part of their body, it can cause serious injury. The most important thing is your safety and the people that will be in close proximity to your jib. The jib is constructed out of aluminum, which is a conductor of electricity. When working around power lines or lighting, make sure that the jib does not come in contact with these hazards. This can cause fatal electric shock, explosion, or even a fire. Be careful as a jib operator. You are responsible for your safety as well as the safety of the crew, talent, and spectators. Your camera equipment can also be damaged by these same hazards. Make sure that your camera and equipment is securely fastened before raising the arm into the air. Cameras, mat boxes, and teleprompters don't like to be dropped from 20 to 30 feet in the air. They also don't like running into walls or other equipment. With the monitor mounted at the pivot point, it's easier to keep an eye on the end of the jib. Remember, safety first.
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to show you how to set up and operate your new JonyJib Camera Crane system. You'll see how quick and easy it is to get your JonyJib up and ready for your first shoot. So let's look at the components you'll be working with today. You'll have support units like a tripod and a dolly, the pivot point, extension tubes, the camera platform, a leveling cable, the rear control center, a monitor mount, counterweights, the 100mm mounting hub, ring pins, and through bolts. First, you'll need a few tools. An 1/8" hex driver, a crescent wrench, a medium Phillips screwdriver, 1/2" wrench, a 9/16 wrench, and a bullseye style bubble level. We'll also look at optional components like the motor head 20 and 30, the CRT monitor mount, the power distribution box, the power supply, the Anton Bauer battery mount kit, and carrying cases. We'll show you how to build, level, balance, test, and completely operate your JonyJib. So let's get started.
The JonyJib2 mates to a heavy-duty 100mm bowl-style tripod. This is the Bogan 3192 model and can be purchased from JonyJib along with this 3067 companion dolly. Loosen the handles and fold the legs out. Then retighten. The dolly comes with cable guards for use in the studio, or they can be removed for outdoor use or on carpet. Go ahead and lock the wheels of the dolly for the duration of the setup. Open the tripod legs and pull down the leg stop lever to show a red indicator. This allows the leg to swivel freely. Insert each foot into the stirrup on the dolly and tighten. Even though the manufacturer rates these units lighter, we've tested them with up to 250 pounds total weight. Make sure the legs are not extended and are at their lowest position. Install the 100mm mounting hub into the bowl of the tripod. Use your bubble level and tighten the bottom handle, making sure the top platform is level. Remove the knob nut, bolts, spacers, and washers from the top of the hub. Install the pivot point to the top of the hub by aligning the 3 mounting holes. Return the spacers, washers, and 2 bolts first. Tighten the bolts with a 9/16 wrench. Now install the center spacer, washer, knob nut, and the rubber cap. Leave the knob nut loose for now. Now it helps to have something to rest the jib on as you build it. We're going to use the C-stand with the foam platform. We'll set it up about here. Stand the extension tubes on end and remove the through bolt. Slide out both of the larger sections and lay the rest down on the floor. Join the largest jib extension section with the next smaller piece by sliding them together, overlapping by 1 foot, and align the 4 through holes. Install the 1/2 inch by 4.5 inch through bolt with washers and a nut in the hole that will not be the pivot point. Just finger tighten all these nuts. Mount these 2 sections to the pivot point through the open hole with a 1/2 inch by 5.5 inch through bolt, washers, and nut. Make sure you orient the larger section to the rear of the jib. The leveling swivel should be on the left when looking at the jib from the rear. Place a ring pin into the first hole above the pivot bolt. Place another ring pin in the 3rd hole of this section. It's the 2nd hole from the rear. Slide the next smaller section in and install the 1/2 inch by 4 inch through bolt, washers, and nut. Slide this bolt through the opposite way as the first bolt and alternate each bolt as you go. Install the ring pin above each pivot bolt as you go. You may need to wiggle the tube to get it to slide in easily. Continue with more sections until you reach your desired length. Each through bolt will be a 1/2 inch shorter in each section as you move toward the camera end. Move the C-stand as required. When you reach the end, place the final ring pin in the next to the last hole. Mount the camera platform with the 1/2 inch by 8 inch through bolt, washers, and nut. You'll also need to loosen the shaft collars with the 1/8 inch hex driver. Use the shaft collars to center the platform in the middle of the last extension section. Install the leveling cable by hooking the coupler end at the pivot point and the thimble end to the camera platform. Connect the appropriate ferrule to the leveling coupler by sliding it into the slot. The leveling cable keeps the camera platform level at any height. Mount the rear control assembly with the 1/2 inch by 5.5 inch through bolt, washers, and nut. If mounting a camera directly to the platform, use the 1/4 inch knob bolt and attach the camera or the camera's quick release plate on the jib's camera platform. Place your bubble level on the camera platform and turn the leveling turnbuckle until you see a centered bubble on the level. Hold the cable side of the turnbuckle to keep it from turning. This adjusts the platform's tilt. You can also level the camera platform's yaw by loosening the nuts on the vertical adjuster with a 1/2 inch wrench. This adjusts the platform up and down, side to side. Install the optional power distribution box to the top rear section of the jib between the 3rd and 4th holes. Use the provided self-sticking Velcro tape to attach. Install the optional control cabling loom by opening the split rings and placing the cable in each ring and close. Start at the rear and work your way to the front. Run the motor head cable all the way to the camera platform. Run the video, zoom, focus, and power cables through the last front ring and let hang for now. If mounting the optional motor head, use the 4 1/4 inch screws, washers, and nuts to attach the motor head's mounting flange to the camera platform. Orient the motor head so that the pan motor is to the rear. Mount your camera or camera's quick release mounting plate to the motor head's camera platform. Connect cabling to the camera and lenses, video, power, zoom, and focus. Dress the cables with the Velcro straps. Balance the camera or find the camera's center of gravity on the motor head by loosening the tilt motor screw and disengaging the small tilt gear from the larger one. This allows the camera platform to tilt freely. First, slightly loosen the thumb screw holding the camera on the platform and slide the camera back and forth to find center. Your goal here is to be able to position the camera at any tilt attitude and have it stay without swinging back one direction or the other. Retighten this thumb screw. Next, loosen the elevator lever. The Motorhead 20 has one of these levers. The Motorhead 30 has two. Raise the camera until you find center of gravity again. You may need to go back and forth between the thumb screw and the elevator level a few times to achieve a perfect center of gravity. Retighten the elevator lever. This is especially important when flying heavier cameras, like cameras weighing more than 10 pounds. Re-engage the tilt motor's gear and tighten the motor's screws. Now be careful not to over-tighten these screws. Install the rear controls. The pan tilt controller generally mounts on the left arm, while the zoom and focus mount on the right. Place the appropriate cables and power into these controls. Install the LCD monitor mount to the top hole of the right side of the pivot point. Use the provided Phillips flathead screw and washers to mount the knuckle to the countersink hole. Now mount the monitor with the adjustable screw platform. Plug in the video and power cable. Dress the cables with the Velcro straps. If using a non-12 volt camera like a Canon XL1, place a battery on the camera for power. Remove the weight bar's knob nut and start loading your counterweights. Start with the 25-pound discs first, then the smaller ones. Load enough to balance the jib. Place more counterweight on the rear as needed. The main weight bar will hold up to 200 pounds of counterweights. That would be 8 25-pound discs. The auxiliary weight bar mounts here and will hold up to another 200 pounds and is used only on the JonyJib Pro. Power on all electronics and the camera. Test the pan and tilt and the zoom and focus controls. If the pan and tilt controls operate the opposite of your preference, simply unplug either or both controls at the camera end and turn the connector 180 degrees and reconnect. If you're comfortable with these functions and your camera is secure, test fly the jib and make sure the counterweight balance is correct. Put away your tools and extra weights and get ready to have some fun. Basic jib moves. Boom, the motion of raising or lowering the jib arm. Arc, the motion of panning the arm on the tripod. Pan, the motion of panning the camera on the head. Tilt, the motion of tilting the camera on the head. Zoom, changing the focal length of the camera lens to appear closer or further from the subject. And focus is obvious. The simplest moves are the boom and arc movements. These can be done separately or a combination of both. With the motorized head, you can also pan and tilt the camera with the joystick. This can be done while the jib is idle, or you can combine these moves with the boom and arc. A simple left horizontal tracking move, similar to a tracking dolly shot, can be accomplished by moving the joystick left and moving your hands left, arcing the jib right. These shots keep your subject framed while moving the camera around them. You could also do the same thing vertically or diagonally. Just remember to move the joystick the same direction as your hands. Once you master these moves, you can add zoom and focus effects. This is a great shot, but by using the JonyJib, your shots will get that professional quality your production is screaming for, making it a must-have in the professional production market. Easy to build, easy to operate. The JonyJib is smooth and quiet, but best of all, it's affordable. The JonyJib opens the door to creativity. Ordinary can become extraordinary, bringing movement to motionless videography. Hit treetops, skylines, rooftops, or whatever your imagination can think of. No ordinary tripod can move like this.